Good morning, everyone. It's January 31st, 2020. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing today? I hope that you are all well. First, before I get started, I'd like to apologize to the few that showed up for my live stream. You might be asking yourself, what live stream? Well, day before yesterday, Wednesday, I scheduled a live stream for 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I had fiddled with it early in the afternoon and thought everything was good to go and set. Well, when I actually went to do the live stream, I was being blocked from doing it. It seems that YouTube doesn't want me live streaming for some reason. Could it be for the same reason they've taken down multiple videos of mine? Could it be that for the same reason that they have banned my channels? Could it be? And while I'm here apologizing, I would also like to thank those of you who dropped a few bucks in my PayPal account. As some of you know, I knocked over a cup of coffee onto my computer last week, I believe it was, and now my keyboard don't work. Now, my computer actually wasn't even turning on for the whole day, and finally, after it, I guess, dried completely out, it turned back on. So I guess I'm lucky to have my computer at all, but not having a keyboard and having to use the on-screen keyboard is a tremendous pain in the ass. So thank you for donating to my PayPal account. It will help pay for another computer. And I'm leaning towards a desktop this time around, but I'm not sure. So, thank you for your donations. I very, very much appreciate it. Now, as most of you know, the World Health Organization has declared this V201 virus a global emergency. And according to Mike Adams, and in my opinion, he should really stick to the health ranger stuff and not the political stuff, because he's just as bad as all the others when it comes to worshiping the cult of personality. That is Donald Trump. But according to him, he's crunched some numbers and believes that the United States is already at about 10,000 cases. And he could be right. That, after all, this is his specialty, the health area. And that being said, how do you know when it's time to not show up to work? Are you able to do this? Do you have any kind of finances put back for such an emergency? About 90% of Americans do not have the money put back to go ahead and call off work for a couple of weeks. Now, I do freelance computer tech shit for money. I'm pretty good at it. There's only been, in the many years I've been doing it, there's only been maybe 4 computers that I was not able to fix. And that was simply because, in most cases, the owner did not want to put money into buying a product key. So I do computer work freelance, and so I'm able to not go anywhere. My wife, she has she works at a country club, and they have a very generous um, vacation and personal day benefits, meaning she can take, well, she's built up to 2 weeks now for just vacation and 10 days for personal days. Not everyone has the ability to do this. So how do you know when to stop going? This is just my humble opinion, okay? Just my opinion. I would be looking at the emergency rooms and assessing how crowded they are. I would be looking at other variables such as other people calling out. Now, my wife, she's in sort of a unique position because she works at a country club, and they have members that if they start not showing up to the country club, then it's time for us to not show up as well. So when a handful of these people stop showing up to the country club, that is when we're going to pull the plug and keep her home. There is a massive shortage of these masks. You know, the ones that I showed you the other day. It is these sorts of masks that I'm referring to. And I could be an asshole and start selling these for an exorbitant amount of money. But I'm not selling them. I am keeping them. I have about 200 of these masks. So there's a global shortage of these masks, and ironically, they come from the very country that this so-called fish market caused disease came from. The U.S. government is short of these masks. So when enough people, or when a few people actually, country club members, stop coming, that is going to be our cue to pull her out of there and to take all of her vacation days and possibly even her personal days. Now, while a disease like this is spreading, you do not want to be in close quarters with people. In fact, I would argue that being inside at all is a bad idea. Why do I say this? And this is leading somewhere here. The reason I say this is because when you cough and you sneeze, it sprays all over the place. If you're outside, it goes into the air, gets blown around, and diluted. Which is why I have a hard time believing the official narrative as to where this disease started. Specifically, that fish market. Now, these markets are open air markets, okay? You have wind blowing around, and this dilutes the spittle from the sneezes and coughs, right? It would seem to me that they would have had to put a lot of effort into getting this so-called coronavirus started in an outside open market. You recall, it's been a while since I did the video. You recall that did a video about how they analyzed what was coming out of the airplanes spraying our skies. And the analysis found that there were dried red blood cells in the mixture. What do you suppose dried red blood cells in such a mixture, what do you suppose that could be used for? I mean, it is a cell, right? And as you heard the good doctor on my video yesterday, or should I say, pieces of the Leak Project's video interview with Dr. Paul, what was it, Cortell? That's it, Cortell. So, being inside, going to the hospital, you're just asking for trouble. Being outside as much as possible, and I know a lot of places are really cold right now, so that's not going to work for those places, obviously, because, well, it's too fucking cold to be outside all the time. Of course, you do have the option of building a giant bonfire to keep your ass warm, which is exactly what we're going to do when this shit reaches us. We're not going to be inside at all. We will use tents, and we will be out in the open air where the molecules, the spit, the snot, whatever you want to call it, the mist, the aerosol, is blown by the wind and diluted. Where there's no surfaces for this RNA-based virus to live on. That's what we're going to do. If there are already 10,000 cases, and by the way, if this is real, it's starting to seem like probably it is. If this is real, a lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are already dying from other shit. But a lot of people are going to die from this. Now, what do you say? If you know 40 people, one of them will require an ICU bed. And I can see that. I can see that happening. I can also see a shortage of beds in this country, across the world. So the only thing they're going to be able to do about it is to force people to stay at home, which will bring our economy to a screeching halt. They will say essential personnel only, meaning, and I don't really consider these people essential, maybe a couple of them, but meaning police, firefighters, those who work at power plants, and so on and so forth. Now, I live in a town that it's a small town. Very small town. And we don't really have what you call a full-time police force here. And you know what? The damnedest thing is this area is not what you would call high crime. I mean, stuff happens still, but not like, say, Greenville or Columbia. It's a very small place. Just a couple of stores. But there's no police force to speak of. I mean, yes, there are cops here, but the cars remain parked a lot. And so there's not really a whole lot of problems as a result of not having these cops to escalate bad situations. So, non-essential personnel will be ordered to stay home. And at first, they'll put the words, if possible, in there. And I saw something last night that was very, very troubling. It was a video Canadian Prepper did, and it showed the amount of flights that were leaving China to other destinations during the period of between December and now. And the amount of flights that left China to just the United States is staggering. It's staggering. So there's no way that this hasn't spread more widely than we're being told. And over a month later, they're just now doing things like disinfecting these aircraft. They're just now restricting flights. They're just now doing a whole bunch of stuff that should have been done in the first place. The whole thing could have been avoided if it were not for the state and statists. Some reason, somehow, no matter what country you live in, but we'll use the United States as an example. No matter what country you live in, no matter how draconian and evil and every other descriptive word you can use, believe that the governments have a right to do the things they do. They really believe this. Billions of people. They believe that, if the government does it, there must be a good reason. Well, like engineering diseases. What do you say? Let's see here. Let me refer to my notes here. So Dr. Cottrell used an NIH search, a National Institute of Health database, a search on there, to assess the coronavirus structure. He then compared that to other organisms and found Other pathogens similar to this virus is an RNA-based virus with common traits, and they were all bat SARS. Oh, I got terrible writing. His assessment was that this disease was engineered in a lab to make the replication part of it larger and more concentrated in one area of the structure. Meaning, it was intentionally made to duplicate itself. And there's people out there who believe that governments around the world, not just ours, have the right to be tampering with these diseases when the risks to the population are so high should one of these diseases get out the door. And with the immense amount of corruption, with the number of socio or psychopaths within government, it just makes it that much more probable for one of these assholes to release something like this. And that's exactly what happened. But people believe they have a right to do things like this. Do you know how stupid Americans are? Do you really know? Well, I'll give you a great example of this. People in America believe, not all of them, but a lot, believe that this virus is a result of beer. Beer. What kind of low IQ nitwit would say such a thing? What kind of low IQ nitwit would support a government filled with pedophiles, rapists, psychopaths, and sociopaths? What kind of low IQ nitwit actually believes that the police have a right to go around shooting two-year-old little girls in the back? This stupidity is far more dangerous than a fucking virus. Because it is this stupidity that allows governments to engineer these types of things. It is these people who worship the state and political candidates who pose the biggest threat to your life. There's people out there that actually believe the government has a right to take your weapons from you. They believe this. And you get channels like PragerU and SGT Report and so on and so forth, who love to incessantly blame liberals for all the evils of this world. Talking about their Christian values. And see, that's the thing with the right, the conservative side of things. As a person can say they're conservative and religious and not be. And even if they were actually conservative and religious, does that really mean they're good? I don't think so. I think that conservatives and liberals alike have had their hands in shit that they should not have had their hands in the first place. I mean, who makes these decisions? And what gives them the right to make them on our behalf? So, being out in the open air is a good idea. It dilutes the particles and blows them away. And this is what I'm going to do. Okay? Now, when they start locking shit down, if it gets bad enough, they will. They will lock shit down. It's too late. It's too late if it's as bad as we think it is. It's too late. It's too late to quarantine it. It's too late to stop it from spreading from continent to continent, state to state, country to country, city to city. It's too late. So you're going to need some supplies. And I'm not Dave Hodges. I don't have anything to fucking sell you. Okay? Nothing. I'm not going to sell you a t-shirt or a 2-week supply of overpriced food. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you that before the just-in-time system breaks down, which it will, you need to have certain things. And these N95 face masks are not one of them. They do no good in containing a disease that is only 2 microns in size, which is another piece of evidence that this was engineered. You need to have a gun. At least one. You need to. I don't give a shit if you're a felon. I don't give a shit if you don't like them. I don't care. You need a gun. Preferably more than one. With more than one mag. You need a way to purify your water. Or you need a shit ton of water, gallons. You need these things. Because when they lock shit down, they're not going to be delivering these products to your door. What you have on hand is what you'll be able to utilize. When there's enough cases, they are going to get up on TV and say, we got to do X, Y, or Z, and we are calling for people to stay home and not go out in public. And it will be, at first, a soft thing. It will be a suggestion. And then it'll move from suggestion to an order. And when that happens, what you have is what you have. And this is why myself, among others, have urged the public, anyone who sees these videos, to have stuff on hand. Food, water filters, bleach, alcohol. That kind of alcohol. seeds. And so many people out there have nothing. And those people will be left to die. Now, even if this doesn't end up being the big one, like a lot of people believe it will be, even if it doesn't end up being a huge, huge pandemic with a massive death toll of millions of people, you can see what to expect when one does happen. And if this one isn't it, I can probably say with reasonable certainty that the next one will be. Now, there's 5 of these strains. 5. 3 of which are engineered for replication. They've taken the most critical attributes from each of these strains and combined them into one, concentrating the replication at the back end of this virus. And by the way, that replication takes up a large portion of this disease, its ability to replicate. Right? So, you tell me, is it going to be as bad as people think it is? And if so, how come more measures have not been taken to contain it? The fact of the matter is, I think most of them realize that it's far too late for containment. It's far too late to have any kind of control over this spread. Okay, they like to throw data into computer models and get an idea, but there's just so many variables that are not accounted for in these models. We have doctors in China and nurses dropping dead or in ICU. We have crematoriums there that's not able to keep up with the influx of bodies. And if you are a doctor or a nurse, it's pretty much impossible for you to treat any of these sick people without contracting the disease yourself. So how long is it going to be until doctors and nurses say, fuck this shit, I'm not going to work? How long is it going to be until others take this position? I venture to say, probably not long. Now, what do I mean by not long? Within 3 months? Maybe? Another 3? Which is, not a long time. And if I were any of you that's unprepared right now, I would sell my cloak and buy a sword. I would get rid of anything that's not essential, any property, if I could sell it, and buy a gun, food, ammo, life straws, iodine. And again, I don't sell any of these products. I probably should be, because I would be a lot better off right now if I did, but I made a promise to not commercialize my channel. So I'm not. I've considered the idea of a couple t-shirts, and I got a couple of good designs, but short of that, I don't want to sell you anything. I want to tell you the truth. And the truth is, you need a large supply of food right now. The truth is, these people do not know what they're doing, and the shit has already spread all over the place. I'm here to tell you that going to the hospital or doctor's office is the absolute worst thing you can do in avoiding getting sick. What are you going to do when FEMA and the United Nations and your local police department and sheriff's department and state police, what are you going to do when those who remain on duty start dragging people out of their houses? I advise you to fight. And because wherever they take you will be a nightmare hellhole. We have entire cruise lines, or cruise ships, quarantined. Do you really think it hasn't spread far and wide? Do you really think the ability for people to fly during the whole first month didn't spread this pathogen all over the place? Do you really think it started in a seafood market naturally? Do you really think that? I hope you don't. I really do. Because either way it goes, this year, 2020, shit is going to get real for a lot of people. We have manufacturing collapsing. We have retail collapsing. We have the agriculture collapsing. Our rivers, lakes, and streams are all fucking polluted with the garbage from these corporations. Our ecosystems are collapsing. And then you add on top of this the statist. You better go and vote because if you don't, Hillary will get in control. Do you think Hillary has actually ever lost control? Or any of the rest of them? Do you think what's been going on is anything with regard to impeachment and Donald Trump and the left-right paradigm is anything other than a show? These people work together to destroy you. They make laws against you. They're not for you. These laws are not for you. They are against you. They are designed to take your money and imprison you. And in Virginia, we have a situation going on where Dave Hodges declared victory and fight against the tyrants there trying to take the weapons from people, except they have introduced 9 other bills to do just that. So, no victory. And when one of these bills actually passes, there will be thousands of people who are instantly turned into felons. Again, these laws are not made for you. They are made against you. Every law passed that demands you do something or demands you don't do something is a law against you. And by the way, your leaders are exempt from these laws. Your police departments. So, my advice is to have as much food, as many ways to filter water, as many guns, and as much ammo as you can get. My advice is for you to have some sort of archery device, whether it be a crossbow, compound bow, or a regular bow. Doesn't matter. My advice is to get anything that you think you might need during a long-term shutdown of businesses. That's my advice. My advice is for you to be in open air. Have a big bonfire going. Being inside simply concentrates the particles and makes it harder for you to get over whatever sickness you might have. Anyway, I thought I would talk to you all about this today. I think this video has gone way too long, 42 minutes. Probably no one's going to watch because of that, but what can I do? I hope you all have a good day. And I will be talking about some other things probably later and today with regard to recent events. Till next time, kill the state, live free.